Oh, okay. Welcome back to Old Bones Grim Tales. Today we're jumping back into the Vemhara campaign, and what my buddy over here doesn't know is that I'm on the main cam and we can't see him. But in just a moment, you can show everybody your emoji pillow. But as I said, welcome back. We're jumping back into the Vemhara campaign. The last episode of Vemhara got a little wild. Just a tad.
A little?
Yes, a little.
A lot of wild.
Hang on, this way.
Our allies here went off to the Dancing Isles alongside Thane Stoneheart. Mr. Kalypso, you had the key in your heart to possibly be able to persuade King Iwaharu for Zelmanon's wrath, one of the items that Thane needs to retrieve to become complete. So Iwaharu's kind of second in command. Low Cap. He wanted to make sure you guys were up to snuff before he took you to Iwaharu. So he tasked you with going to the Desecrated Isles. And you guys did. I would say it's probably one of the most harshest kind of terrains that I've ever thrown you guys into. But you traversed it. Almost went mad. Ended up fighting some necrotic creatures. That battle didn't go so well. Over a pit of quicksand, 3 of you managed to find your way inside of the quicksand, trying to save one another as Kalypso went down. You guys did eventually manage to pull each other out, trying to get to safety, but by this point, one of the creatures had pulled the canopy, the trees around on top of the quicksand. Mr. Zorka at the time, you had a choice to make. You could have fled, but instead you dug deep. You tried to find a way that you could help your allies. You knew you couldn't kill the creature, but you felt a pulling at the back of your mind, a heat around the necklace that Grimbones gave you, so you ripped it from your neck, and Balastara gave you a choice. She would save your allies, but you were to become hers yet again. You took that choice and you plummeted down to the earth, sacrificing yourself so that she could bring your friends to, not freedom, but aid them. It was a super sad moment. It's always hard to watch a player death, but we persevered. You guys left the Dancing Isles, went straight back to Pitchwall, and then to Holland. You found out that a year and a half had passed. Things weren't so good. Rannar, you realized that you were going to Three-Eyed Jack's without one of your compatriots, without your brother. This was going to interfere in a deal that you had made. And it did. Three-Eyed Jack's didn't believe that you all were who you were, because he made that pact. So what he did instead was try to corral you, but Thane intervened. He kind of punched out Three-Eyed Jack's and then rewove time with the item that he got from Grimbones, Maribel's music box. Also in that box, he brought back the Claring Blood father of Rannar and Zorka. Mm-hmm. Toward the end of the session, as we switch over to main cam, how's everybody doing today? Everybody say hi.
Stop. What's going on?
So, toward the end of the last session, Rannar, you were kind of having a heart-to-heart with yourself. You sought out a temple of Azaran. You went in and you prayed. You heard a voice that was sort of familiar, but as you turned, you saw not Thane Stoneheart, you saw the fabled Durin Stoneheart. As he reached out his hand towards you and introduced himself. But before we pick up there, we need to pick up many, many miles below the surface. In an underground cavern. Zorka.
What, Balastara? What do you want from me now?
Oh no!
Oh, we messed with the camera already. All right, let's go ahead and try to fix it. You're gonna want to move it toward Carrie. Swivel it that way. There you go. We're good. All right. So, as I said, miles below the surface in an underground sanctum that is beholden to Balastara. Zorka. The past days have been hard. You have been coerced, you have been killed and brought back to life, and then killed. Even though you are already dead, it seems that she can torment you in such a way. She is remolding your mind, or at least trying to. As a ode to Zorka, before we move into your next character, I would love for you to make for me a wisdom saving throw. And I'm going to give you advantage on this for reasons.
Okay. No, okay. I got a 12.
All right.
Forgot.
So atop the great pinnacle that is her keep, in this open area where her outdoor bedchamber is that overlooks this great cavern, you have been put upon a stone pedestal that has been raised, and she is currently tinkering in your open chest. She is letting you cling to life to fill every aching moment. As you fade in and out of consciousness, you do see around you these figures. They're mechanical in a way. She is dug not only into your chest, but it points into your mind, extracting these tentacles of ideas and thoughts, the things that you have seen your brother do, his way that he has with his hands and creating things, though offensively, as into regard with weaponry. She's using that. She's molding these mechanical creatures, and you see them. And before you fade, she just smiles as you don't know what she is preparing for. And with that, Zorka, as played by Shawn, Zorka is now signing off. So, let us change up the music just a bit. All right. Back in the city of Holland. Before we pick up with you, Rannar, there are two individuals that have made their way currently to Sprocket's Ending just to have a little bit of a breather. Kalypso and Jamfyr.
Oh, yeah.
Currently, you're sitting at a table. You're going through the countless letters that were written at the behest of Sprocket from a little bit of mind magic intrigue that was kind of thrown his way. Because of anything that, was to happen with the young boy.
Oh, mother's tongue. Oh, man.
With the young child, the young kobold. He was to document it and let you know. A year and a half has passed. And though they had heard that you were dead, it didn't matter. But as you guys sift through the piles of letters, eventually, Kalypso, Jamfyr, you realize that you haven't checked your bank account in quite a while.
I'm gonna open my little credit card.
So, at this point, so what you pull out is it's kind of like a wristwatch with kind of a display, magical display, that not only tells you the time, but it can link you to your bank account. You notice that as you both log on to yours, that your personal bank accounts, they say closed, but then after a few moments, they're active again. And you have within it the amount of gold that you left with. Like I said, it seems to you guys like it's been a couple weeks. Not even that, really. And in fact, it has been a year and a half, but you notice that there's a second account. And as you slide down and click on it, Jamfyr, you have a slight catch of breath as you look at that number. Would you like to know what it is?
Yeah.
I'm just going to write it down and pass a note.
Yes. Ha! I'm gonna make you guys guess.
I mean, I can access it just as much as you.
You can, but I'm just kind of passing it down.
Yeah.
We're gonna make them
Just
guess.
because it's fun.
I can look at it when I get home.
They each have a thing.
We all have the same
The only one who can't say it is Zorka.
So I'm just going to pass it down there.
Close your eyes.
So as you look down at your watch, you guys both do this at the same time and see that number.
Close your eyes.
I'm dead.
Oh, happy days. Let us play Sim Simulator. So,
We're gonna have multiple bars
you're kind
now.
of curious as to why there is such an amount, but we will get to that as we transfer truly into the game now.
Calypso takes off his hat and just
It is definitely.
He just puts his head on the table and goes.
There's no table here.
You're at a table.
We're sitting at a table. It's proper.
Yeah, you're at a table.
You need to listen to the description, young lady.
No, you don't.
And he just puts his head down and covers it with his hat.
All right, now,
Oh!
Rannar. Towering over you, this 10-foot-tall humanoid man reaches his arm out. It's nice to finally meet you, Rannar. I am Durin Stoneheart.
You're the Durin Stoneheart.
Indeed I am. Why am I talking like Three-Eyed Jacks? Indeed I am.
And you still refer to your father Azaran as Daddy.
Most of the time I do. Indeed, but we're not here to talk about my father. We're here to talk about you. Mind taking a seat with me?
Sure.
I assume that you have a few questions.
Oh, I have many questions.
Well, then let's get them out of the way first. As he sits down and the pew creaks and he puts his leg over, just kind of sits back, arms out, one around you as he kind of turns.
Why us?
I kind of got that idea from my father. It's a long story, and I don't know if you've heard it, but near 500 years ago, I and my allies at the time found out that we were gifted, and I wasn't very happy either. And I know that things have probably been hard, and I do know that recently you have lost a brother.
Right. That's why I'm here.
I find it interesting that you've made it here. But it's not a bad thing, as this is the only way that I could have contacted you.
Right, because you don't like Thane.
It's not that I don't like my brother. I love my brother. Though I didn't know he existed until after the Great War of Allura. It's just him and I don't see eye to eye. But as I alluded to, I did hide keys in mortals, and you, your brother, Jamfyr, and Kalypso, they were all of the Chosen, along with a few others. Grimbones, that you know, and a few yet to be identified. Unfortunately, I made a mistake in one of them, and we will get to that, but not just yet. First, I would like to take any questions that you have for me before I tell you why I came to you.
What's the whole mess? What's this all about? This great divide between the godchildren.
Well, it's more of a great chasm at this point. He chuckles, kind of pushes the hair out of his face, and he starts putting his long blonde hair into a ponytail. Unfortunately, as I said, it's more of a chasm. Currently, I am allied with two of the godchildren, and the rest are seemingly against us, though I'm trying to talk to one in particular. Thane has ideals, something that stems from a previous life of his, one that has been nearly erased but remembered, and that has led to him to do some very bad things. And though he tells me that his actions are just, I am on the side of the people and on the side of neutrality. Thane's great scheme started many years ago when we first came to Vemhara. We were contacted by the king at the time. His name was Thomas. And he wanted to use the great ley lines of the world to power something he called the light grid, and it's something that we all aided in. But Thane, for some reason, my father and my uncle, their brothers and sisters, decided to gift him with items. I know not why. They were passed down by someone of ages past, referred to as the Dawn Lord. Items of the creator gods themselves that have then transcended back to the prime material. He's a demigod of the prime, and he was able to use them here. And once he's seen how easy it was to capture the ley line's energy, he brought to the council the idea of harnessing all of the energy in Creatorum, starting with Vemhara, into us. And we would be the ones to choose who could access that power. We would have to be worshipped from our peers on the prime material plane for them to even have a chance to access our power.
Don't you already do that with clerics and warriors of such?
To a sense, but when it comes to someone like me, then yes, I do allow my followers to tap into my powers. But you have to think of the sorcerers in the world. You have to think of the wizards, even the bards. It's not through divine that they get their power, it's through the magical essence of the world itself. And though much of my power that is bestowed upon my paladins and clerics comes from me, it is utilized through the ley lines. So, if Thane wins, there will be no magic given to any newborn going forward for generations, other than the ones that he deems worthy. It's saddening to me that he would want to do this. There is pros and cons to every situation, young Rannar. But in my mind, the cons outweigh the positives in this situation.
Right.
We essentially take the entire population of Creatorum and push them back centuries. All of this city, all the magical creations that have happened, how far that we have come with the light grid and all the things that we have been able to do. We rely so heavily on clerical and the divine to heal those, but now we're entering an age where medicinal practices are able to do just as much, and power can be funneled elsewhere. It's a new age. Bureaucrats and baronies. Thane essentially wants to send us back to a stone age.
Where he gets to decide who has power and who doesn't.
And that is where we really crossed steel. As he doesn't plan on bestowing anybody with power other than those that are needed to keep the rest of the populace in check. And that is an issue, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
I've brought you here to tell you all this because I sense that maybe a part of you is connected, and it is my fault with Thane, as I did hide a key to one of the items in your heart. I hid one in your allies, and I do know that soon your caretaker or Thane will come to you as they have found another one, the one that is tied to you, an item called the Angel Bracer, something that was created by my Aunt Ophius. I hid that item somewhere where I thought it would be safe. But Thane interceded and managed to manipulate a group to push out Kalypso and his friend away from their home. Kalypso died in that river, Rannar. Thane brought him back to life and made him what Thane was in a previous life, that of one of the fallen angels, an Azamar. His friend, however, a young woman named Lilifan, she did not fare as well. Tethys got to her before I could. And for reasons unbeknownst to me at this point, she has the Angel Bracer. They're going to come to you and they're going to ask you to go to Ashenthane to retrieve this. And I come to you now asking you, as that item is connected to the key in your heart, to bring it to me at the Great Emerald Tower in Ashenthane after retrieving it.
So what's your end game?
I never really had an end game. I was just a man living on my family's plantation. My city was rocked by a creature of Zelmanon. I was hunted down, killed brutally in a forest, only to be reborn by Azaran's blessing. And then I went head first into a war with my allies, and I made sure that I protected them. And now they have all turned their back on me, other than my greatest friend. And another, which I cannot speak of currently, as he smiles. I had no endgame. I was told that I could not transcend to the creation plane. The Creatorum was left for us, the children of the gods, to mold as we saw fit. But then Thane was introduced to us. And he is a great man. But once he started remembering his past, his mind began to break. And he's corrupted by things that have happened in a far-off life. And he's afraid that that could happen here. I don't know the whole story. So I don't have an endgame other than peace. I don't seek that the mortals of this world be stripped of their power. I feel as we should all be equal.
People like Chance would die.
People like Chance would die. I don't know how I feel about the magical constructs in the world. I don't know how I feel about the souls of the dead being reformed into bodies like that. But I can see the upsides. But yes, if
Chance.
Thane had his way, they would all perish, yes. I was never really good at, leading into things. I usually just drop everything on a person and let them sort it out.
It's alright, no offense, but you gold children seem to be really good at that.
You're right. You're not wrong.
So Thane already has a few of these items.
He does. He has my sword, and he pats his scabbard. I really miss my sword. Apparently, Grimbones has bestowed upon him the music box.
Right, he used it.
He did. I felt the weave change slightly. That is yet another issue. Thane is terrified of that item. He will only use it in bursts. If he wanted to reshape the world as he wanted to, now he could. He has the power now to do it. But I don't think he will. It's tied up in the story of his past. Apparently he's used it before, and things didn't end well. I know he already has Zelmanon's wrath as well. And I don't know if you understand how he obtained that.
Apparently he fought the king of the Dancing Isles.
He destroyed the Dancing Isles.
He did what?
They're gone. He wiped out the entire race of the Apelings and took back Zelmanon's gift. It is no more.
They had nothing to do with it.
A reckless genocide. And yet I am powerless to stop him.
That thieving.
He's in this city, but this is a place where I can be, that is warded against him. I can't get within miles, hundreds of miles close to him, unless I'm in a temple of Azaran, just as so he cannot enter the city of Ashenthane. I'm gonna let you soak all this in, but do you mind taking a walk with me? And he slaps his hand on your shoulder.
Sure.
And as you say sure, you're no longer sitting on a pew. You're sitting on a hollowed out stump. As he stands and he kind of cracks his back, and what you're looking out upon is a thick forest full of enormous willow trees that are kind of swaying around in the wind. The grass is thick, blue, and green. As you look up through the canopy, you're used to looking up at the sky, and there's a thick haze that kind of deafens the sun and the moon's grace as it shines down. But here you can see the sun breaking through that canopy, something you haven't seen ever.
This is beautiful. Where are we? This is...
He just smiles and come on. And he starts walking down this kind of dirt path. And it winds down the side of this hill, and you can see further in, and there's this enormous pool of water. It's clear. You can see the fishes and wildlife swimming about it. Squirrels going around. Small foxes prancing through, even a deer or two. It's a very magical place. Birds fly around and chirp.
Oh, you're gonna meet someone.
This is a glade of an old friend of mine. Continues to walk down.
This is beautiful. Zorka would love to see this.
He kind of grimaces when you say Zorka. Before we continue all the way down and I introduce you to someone, if you help me, Malistar is unfortunately well.
I'm sorry,
I shall
know.
not say such things about my sister, but yes, she is not nice. If the tide is able to swing back to my side and I stop Thane, I will release Zorka. I cannot bring him back. I do not believe in such things. I am not my mother's son. I have been given way too many opportunities, and I should have died a dozen times over, and when I am truly dead, if it is possible, I will rest. I will give Zorka rest, if we can defeat Thane in this. You start to hear the clanging of hammer on an anvil as you walk down. And just kind of on the other side of a thick patch of grass, you see a broad-shouldered humanoid clanging down on this anvil. Shawn, would you like to introduce your new character?
Sure. You see a bronze dragonborn, about 7 feet tall, 200 something pounds. So he's big, burly, bronze skin. He has a gold birthmark on his head, and you probably see the golden shield that I wield that has a dragon on it, just clanging away.
You hear the muttering of conversation as you turn and you see Stoneheart and a newcomer.
So I see him like just hammering down. I see all of his armor and everything.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a shit.
He's one hell of an individual. He's a diviner of an old friend. You turn around, you see them.
Durin, nice to meet you. Well, nice to see you again.
What's your charisma?
It's nice to see you again,
10.
Medrin.
Makes sense.
Medrin, correct?
Medrin, yes.
Medrin, I'd like to introduce you to Rannar, Clearing Blood.
Nice to meet you, Rannar. You're
Medrin?
From Pitchwall, correct?
Right.
I was actually there during the whole debacle.
Debacle.
The mine sickness.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another thing I got a question about.
In due time, my friend. But first, as I said, this is Medrin. He is a diviner, a cleric. Have you ever heard of Relnavar?
Can I roll like a knowledge check?
You can roll. You can.
Roll
It's
history?
really easy. You know the basic guides.
Or religion, yeah.
Relnavar is a newly transcended one on this list in the last 300 years.
Yep. 10. I don't know shit.
With 10's what you needed.
Mhm.
Relnavar, you heard about him growing up. He was very much so a bedtime story. This great ancient golden dragon that protected this woodlands, this magical place in a far-off continent called Allura. He was just kind of like a superhero to the children in these stories, you know? But he's actually, as you've grown up, he's a legit transcended god of clerics and paladins, similar to Durin, but true neutral.
Golden Dragon protects this place. Bedtime stories.
Shit, I remember my mom telling me stories about Rannar.
A lot.
fucking glade.
I remember Zorka would gents around like a dragon.
It's a cool place, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is the former glade of Relnavar. Amid the willow woodlands, we're actually just about 45 minutes walk that way to a city that I kind of grew up in, well, for the latter part of my life.
And so like we're in. So can I look outside for a moment? Or are we outside?
You're
We're
outside.
outside.
You're in the
Okay.
middle of the willow woodlands
You're
in
in
the
a
glade of
forest.
Relnavar.
Yeah.
Thick forest, except for without big like oak trees and stuff. It's willow trees.
I kind of just look around amazed.
Yeah, it doesn't look this nice in
I would recommend that after everything that happens, if you ever want to move, it's a nice place. I'd recommend Trebor, though. As I said, this is Medrin, and I hope you don't mind, but he knows a tremendous, awful lot about you and your compatriots. We've kind of been watching.
Yeah.
Buddy.
I figured.
I do want to apologize for what happened to your brother. But he did make a worthy sacrifice.
A sacrifice that needs to be upheld. Durin, I'll uphold any. If you can give Zorka a resting place. See, look, I've killed a lot of people.
He's gonna come out and say it.
We know that. We saw what happened, yeah. Your brother was not the shiniest.
During the Great War of Cinderfang, I was manipulated by my mother, and I killed countless innocents. And I feel as though I've redeemed myself, though I will never forgive myself. You can redeem yourself, but carry that with you, and it will make you a better man. I also have a gift to bestow upon you, and he slaps you in the chest, and your brand begins to burn. I've severed your connection. You will still register as a brand. They can track you only when you wish to be. You can also use this ability to sever the connection with your allies. All you have to do is touch their brands. You can also, and he slaps you again, and you feel this heat in your chest, and you begin to glow with a radiant hue. I also think you'd make a tremendous paladin of Azeran.
And I step back and I just crack my neck.
So you kind of like crack your neck, and you kind of stretch your arms out, and you hit a nearby tree, and a small radiant explosion as the tree just kind of explodes.
Like, holy shit.
Might want to hone that in a little bit.
That tree's been
Transfer it
full.
into those things you carry. And he kind of points towards your weapons. I was never a real big fan. I had a friend that used those, and every time that we fought in a battle, I had to go save his life. I hope you do much better.
Alex was rather clumsy, wasn't he?
That he is. As I said, you will be contacted soon, and you will be asked to go to Ashenthane. I think it will be rather easy, as Kalypso's from there.
So, will Thane know of the changes?
Thane should not be able to sense the change. The only one that could sense it is Tethys, and he must be in person to sense it. Thane's mind is at 100 different places at once. If you are with him, you are never truly with him, especially now that he has obtained the magic music box. He's at a dozen different places and a dozen different meetings, doing a lot of different things. It's hard to actually get him nailed down. But as I said, if you can manage to get the Angel Bracer and bring it to the Great Emerald Tower, all you have to do is make it through the great stone doors, and I will meet you on the other side. If we can stop Thane from completing his arsenal, we may have a chance to stop what is coming. I know that there's much you will have to do, and the reason that I have came to you, not only that you walked right into my temple, but I feel that Jamfyr and Kalypso are deeply tied with Thane currently. And I think they will need much persuasion. I think once Kalypso hears what has happened to Lily, that he may be able to be persuaded to our side. If indeed you want to be on our side. I could just leave you here and you could live in Allura for the rest of your life. It's a nice place.
But if Thane takes over...
Oh, I'm just kidding. I truly need you to help me out here.
He's not great with sarcasm.
I don't understand.
It's alright, I'm
Talking
not
to
either.
people's hard.
I understand it completely.
So, what do you think?
I think we have a deal, Dern.
I think we have a chance. And when he says chance, you see necrotic energy bloom from near the stream as chance manifests.
Ooh, you're in trouble.
Shit.
Did I say that I have friends in high places? As he turns and goes and embraces Chance. Hello, Durin. Nice to see you, Chance. Have you brought it? I have. Chance walks around Durin and hands out to you an urn. I wasn't going to let them keep it. We need a true funeral for this boy, and we're going to have it.
You cheeky bastard. And I go and hug him.
Awkwardly. Like, he seemed okay, like hugging Stoneheart awkwardly, but he's like really...
He says the word
like,
awkwardly.
Yeah, awkwardly. It's fine, really. So, yep, cat's out of the bag. I'm hanging with Stoneheart. This one, not the other one, really. My brand doesn't work like the rest of them either. It's kind of nice.
That it is.
This is awkward. I'm getting out of here. And she kind of walks away back into a pool of necrotic energy. See you back in Holland. Yes?
Thank you.
Yeah. Back into the necrotic energy she goes.
She, he, it.
I have a few individuals spread out, some allies, if you ever need them. As I said, just send a quick prayer to Azaran, help me, stuff like that. I'm pretty good about answering. And if I don't, someone else will.
Fair enough.
Medrin,
Yes?
you ready to go to Vemhara? It's a nasty place.
Yeah, you forget I was born there. Well, I got family.
You're right. You've been here a while, though.
How long has it been again?
Roll for me a die 20.
19.
It's been right around, off and on, eight or so years that you've been here, kind of protecting the glade, and then popping back. He does, however, walk up to you, and he hands you a small dagger with a little emerald jewel in it. This will help amplify your door. You can return here. You can go home. And if you need to, break the emerald, and you can come to me.
Good. I like that door.
Sometimes I'm in places that cannot be inhabited by the likes of you mortals. So make it good, like a good time. Like really need my help when you do that.
Right.
Right. Well, I think we're all set here. Right? All right. And he kind of awkwardly kind of steps back. Just take that door. The first exit will get you to the Nine Lives Den.
Oh, ready to go?
He kind of leans down and he brushes the earth. Then he leaps up into the sky, soaring away.
Kind of cool, right? You have a lot of questions. I just see it in your face.
Yeah.
Well, you want to meet up with your friends, right?
Say what?
You want to meet up with your friends, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was just distracted.
Yeah, him. Okay.
By the flying man.
So how does my door work, per se?
You can just channel
Okay.
energy into the. It was a small trinket of Azaran.
Yeah.
That he gave you.
Mm-hmm.
That you kind of retrofitted in with your trinket from Relnavar.
Yeah.
They're kind of together.
Mhm.
If you just funnel a little bit of power into those,
Mhm.
you can open the door. But now that you have this dagger, you can feel an extra pull of magic that you can funnel in. So it is now tied to the Nine Lives Den, your house, and the glade. And it has a fail-safe if you break the emerald.
Okay. Nice. Let's see if
When in doubt, smash.
Yes.
let's see if
Also, once you reach a high enough level, you can reprogram it yourself.
nice.
So once you guys get around 10th or so level, you'll be able to add an additional slot in there where you want to go.
We can fast travel.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see if this works.
All
That-
right. You're
Oh,
going to
shit,
be
you're
real.
You literally just funnel it, and
Yeah.
it's just a plain oaken door.
Do you have anything less flashy? Trying to explain to you is going to be very hard.
Yeah.
You do have another item that you were given.
Mm-hmm.
It's a old dingy mask. You can put it on, use an action to change in any appearance you like.
You realize how disgusting this smells, right?
It does smell really bad. It's
Mm.
ancient.
Okay, I
Mm.
think I have a person I could change to. I put it on and I turn into ebony or ivory, whichever one you want.
Sure you can.
I'm
So
not saying you
from-
need to change your appearance. I'm just saying change the armor.
Well, you watch him turn into an older elven gentleman. And the reason that you know of what these people look like is once you wear the mask, you can see anything that has ever been changed into.
Oh God!
And slight visions of the past. This one
That's
is
not
more like looking in on like fragmented memories.
Yeah.
Something that is distorted. Like, say you're in a video game and you lag out
Mhm.
and you go like off the map and you're in this void, but you can see part of the map over here. It's kind of
Yeah.
like that.
Okay.
Like Assassin's Creed-y,
yeah.
like
yeah.
loading in. You're seeing something that may or may not still be a part of the
Talking
weave.
about Assassin's Creed books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
So you do know Ebony Ivory. There's a plethora of others. If you ever have a specific idea from anything that has been in our games, just let me know. I'll let you know if you can actually change into that appearance.
But he says that, and I take the mask off. What are you talking about? My armor's fine.
And you do notice, there is a brand on the top of his shoulder piece of the brands of preservation. You've been disguised.
Yeah, it's fine.
You just kind of show it openly here.
Yeah.
But you can hide it.
Mhm.
As a Dragonborn, it's harder to brand you.
Yeah.
So it's actually on your items.
Oh,
But then I grab my coat and put it back on.
There you go.
there we go. That's right. That
I'm
can
fucking
work.
hard.
Yeah,
man.
they've got chance in on it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to you.
Yeah. All right.
The code is what did it.
Yeah.
Time to introduce you to the
Over
folks.
plate mail,
Yeah.
the coat.
This is still play coat.
Oh, I have the urn too. That's right. I got
Yeah.
You have the
I'm like,
urn. You summon the door,
Yeah.
and you open it, and you're looking at your loft in the Nine Lives Den.
All right, let's go.
All right.
You step through to a very startled Izzy and a crying baby, and your father.
I'm like,
What? She's like rocking the baby. You can just walk through doors now? That's cool. You mind taking the baby for a minute?
oh,
She looks very tired, eyes are red. He has been crying all night.
You have a
Here,
problem with that.
Medrin,
Yeah,
please
yeah.
hold this for a moment.
You
Yes.
look over your father's like on a couch just snoring, like drool coming out of his mouth. He's had a long night too.
Have Jamfyr and I arrived back at the tavern?
You're about to.
Okay.
What's going on, little Alexander? How
Cries
are
for
you?
a few moments, but eventually kind of calms down.
I'm like singing him a tune, like.
And she
Roll performance.
thank you.
You need
Nice to meet you.
Medrin.
Cool. She goes and sits on the couch next to Alexander and just kind of leans her head up against him and immediately sleep. As the door opens, Jamfyr, Kalypso, you walk in, you see the passed out Alexander and Izzy, you see Rannar holding a baby, and then you see a dragonborn standing in the middle of the room. But before we get into that, let's take our first break.
What?
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Just a big old information shit. Right
Rum,
there.
rum,
What and what now?